Today I'd like to chat about layoffs, outsourcing, and the union difference. What can a union do? Well, a union contract can give you the transparency and accountability that will help you make good career choices. Retention ratings. In a previous video, we went into detail on ratings, but suffice it for today's purposes, know that employees in the Puget Sound, by contract, are notified of their retention rating every year. They know exactly where they stand. It's very transparent. Let's talk about data. Federal law requires Boeing to give a 60-day notice to people who are in danger of being laid off. SPEEA goes a step further. We get the list of all people represented by our contract, and we check that list. We bounce it against the contract to make sure all the rules are being followed. More on that in a bit. If we find that we believe a rule is not being followed, we'll try and work it out with the company ahead of time. So what are those checks? What are the contractual protections? Well, you can see layoff process. Article 8 in both the Puget Sound contracts define how to give a retention rating and define the order in which you lay people off. Not specific names, but which retention ratings go before which other retention ratings. Further, it defines any exceptions, and there are no other exceptions except what's defined in the contract. Also like to point you to the non-Boeing labor box. What that means is if there's contractors in the same skill code as you are, the contractors go first. I won't get into the rest of the protections, but there's a lot of them, and you can go look at our contracts online on the website. After layoff, we get more data. SPEEA is given a list of who was actually laid off, because frequently that's different than who got notices. We do another check on the list to ensure compliance. Where we find a problem, again, we contact the company, try and work things out, and if not, there's a contractually defined process to work out our disputes. Union versus non-union. Well, in a union with a contract, you're going to have transparency. You will know where you stand. There will be accountability because the union checks data to ensure that the contractual protections are being enforced. And here's this bubble chart you've seen before. Without a union contract, there's no transparency, there's no accountability, and if you don't have a contract, the company can change anything at any time for any reason, and it's really hard to fight back. Well, thank you for listening, and we'll talk again soon.